when the lights come down and I leave the stage. It's you that makes it all worthwhile.
Good evening, all our viewers, and we welcome you to American Heart Radio. And this is our web TV series, Direction of the Heart, with Mr. Bruce Shepard as my co-host today. Mike Aloia is on the road, heading to Atlanta, Georgia for some more shows coming up, and a special cancer benefit for 2 young children out there in Florida as well. So we want to give them all our prayer, support, and love. And our special guest today is a very, very dear friend of mine and colleague, Tim Bennett from the Philippines, from Manila. So please welcome him to our show. Tim, it's an honor to have you.
Hey, Pete. So
we're going to probably, I guess, start off by telling the viewers how uniquely we met, you and I. And then we could go into a little bit about telling them all about what you do and what you're about.
Yeah, how we met. Wow, that was actually it was about 2 or 3 years ago we met. I made a movie out here in the Philippines. I produced 2 movies. And the group I was working with did such a bad job of doing the movies. I thought there has to be a better way of making movies. It was actually my first experience to do anything like this. So one of the things I did was I put together a channel, an online channel called Awesome FM, and I reached out to people people who are like directors and producers and anyone associated in making movies, and I started interviewing them online about the way they did things and trying to find a better way. And at the same time I was promoting something of theirs as well, like they had a book on Amazon or something like that. Right. So it was a very cool process, and I met some great people, and as a result of that, I think you actually sent me an email or a message in Facebook or something like that, if I remember.
I did. It was on LinkedIn. Yeah, on LinkedIn.
Oh, that's right. Originally LinkedIn.
Right.
Actually, LinkedIn is an amazing tool to meet people. I love it.
Absolutely.
And then it actually took a while for us to get together. I remember we had a number of emails going backwards and forwards.
Right.
And eventually we got together. We did this really amazing interview. It was actually one of the best interviews we did. We had so many requests to hear that again and also to connect with you again. So we should do that again one day, Pete.
Yeah, we should. And I thank you for that. But yeah, it was amazing. On that note, that you were researching different filmmakers and everything. I remember it was on LinkedIn, and we met, and then we kept going back and forth with emails to finally pinpoint a date when we could do it. And we did. It was like a 1-hour webinar.
Yeah, it was amazing, and you're really an amazing guy as well. Kudos to you. You're great. What you're doing is fantastic.
Right back at you, mate. You're amazing, and what you're doing with Argonaut Films, and we discussed in that webinar, which is on my website and it's on your site, that how to get investors. And of course, Tom Aloia, who's a colleague of both of ours.
That's right. Yeah.
Bankroll, the book that he did, and comparing London. So it was a wonderful, very informative, and a lot of people did appreciate that webinar. And
yeah, I interviewed Tom as well.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember saying. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, in fact, he just shot me an email recently asking for another interview because he's launching new products. So that's going to happen soon.
And Bruce, if you're not familiar, Tom Aloia is a very renowned entrepreneur, author, actor, producer, but he started out in acting, and he was an unknown, and he worked, and he got some good parts, but he really wasn't as intrigued with the acting as it was the behind the scenes of making the film, and the man's a pure genius in producing. He became a very strong colleague of mine, and already was of yours as well. And yeah, that was a great webinar. So you recently interviewed him, Tim?
No, we're just setting up to do another one.
Oh, okay. Well, you and I, we definitely should do another one too.
Absolutely.
I'd love to. But we are so honored to. So tell our viewers about Argonaut and your film company and what you're doing.
All right. Well, it goes back a long way. I failed. Well, I didn't fail high school. I finished high school, but I didn't do very well. My teachers, they had a certain box that met the formula of success. Right. And, I was one of those creative guys. I didn't write much. I liked doing things. I'm very visual, and I didn't fit the box. So I think I walked out of school with like a woodwork diploma and something like that, which was not going to get me very far.
Good job in the shop, yeah.
Yeah, so I became an entrepreneur. and that took me into the world of laser lighting in 1991. I think I kind of fell in accidentally, if you believe in accidents, the laser technology. That was an amazing experience, and I realized then that I'd found my home in, production, in entertainment, and I traveled all over the world, from South America all the way through to Asia doing shows.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved what I was doing, and then one of my passions since I was a kid has been making movies. And when I came out to the Philippines, I was actually given an opportunity in 2012 to get involved in movies as a producer. And as I said, it was kind of not the best end result. I mean, the movies were made, they were launched, terrible distribution behind it. It wasn't a good end result all around. I think I lost most of my money, but that's okay. It was an expensive education.
Sometimes that happens where you break even or you lose some money, but I think it was interesting what you brought out when you interviewed me in the webinar is that you brought out, which I had covered different aspects of how to get a good investor and how to go about the mechanics of it. You brought out an interesting point, which it ricochets in my mind when you said, when you were approached the very first time as to invest, and you said, wait, you mean to tell me I'm going to have my name up on the screen, I'm going to get bragging rights, and I'm going to make money? Where do I sign?
Well, what kind of laser light shows did you put on?
Most of my stuff is actually for companies, corporate events. They're normally the larger companies that they got plenty of money, the big corporations, and they're normally product launches, conferencing, that kind of thing. The other scale is large outdoor shows. I've done a lot of expos around the world, a lot of theme parks around the world. So it's mainly either theme parks or expos or big arenas to corporate, and then sometimes in between we do weddings. I've actually done a laser show at a funeral, which is kind of strange. Yeah, I've done one.
I could see a wedding or a convention or a business thing at a funeral. That's interesting.
I'm still waiting for a live birth, but other than that, I think I've done everything in between. So I've actually been doing lasers since '91, so that's cool.
As you can see, we have a man here of many, many talents. You know what I mean? And it's, again, an honor to have you, Tim. But then now the laser lights, so do you do for concerts as well and things like that?
Yeah, it's not such a big thing right now. I'm 52 at the moment, and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning is not as much fun as it used to be. So I tend not to do as much laser work right now as I used to.
By a few years. But you know what? Age is a number, and I always say ours is unlisted. It's just a number. But great for your age, and you're loving what you're doing. So tell our viewers now. We all know you're British, and you grew up. I believe you said you grew up in like Liverpool area, or.
I was born just outside London. I actually grew up in Cleveland, in Stockton-on-Tees.
Right.
And then I went down to London for a long time. I was about 18 at the time, so it's a while ago. And then I stayed in London for a while. I moved out of London in 91, and went to Spain. Then I went over to Argentina for a while, Brunei, and then I ended up in the Philippines in 98. And I've been here ever since.
They fell in love. It's a beautiful.
And then I fell in love, yeah.
Well,
I hope you don't mind.
I
hope you don't mind if I have a cup of coffee. It's 5 a.m. here, so.
Oh, gotta have your coffee. We're all down in coffee.
Well, I wanted to ask you about your laser show here in Jacksonville. We have the Museum of Arts and Sciences, and they used to. They had this one dome room where they had visual lights and stuff that they showed, and it looked like the night sky, and it was Sky Over Jacksonville was a type of show that they put on. But on Friday nights they would have this soundtrack of all the the really top rock and roll hits and metal and stuff like that, and they put on laser light shows to those songs, but they closed that. We kind of miss it. I wish it was back.
It's laser's a very unique form of lighting. It's unlike any other light. You can literally do anything you want with it. You can write with it. You can do animation with it. It's all in different colors. You can do.
Your forte. Yeah, that's your forte. So I imagine when you do some of these light shows, you have like animation in there, or.
Oh yeah, I mean we do the whole thing. it's unique. I fell in love with laser the first moment I saw it. It's been a long love affair with me and lasers, and it's just something very, very different to any other form of lighting. No disrespect to any other lights, but it's just very different type of lighting.
Right.
So,
Control.
if you want anything, Bruce, let me know. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, Bruce, for any of the shows that Mike is doing that we're going to collaborate on, but I definitely want to keep you in mind also for concerts that I have upcoming, and maybe even for this one in Brazil.
Have you worked with holograms imaging?
We've done a little bit. Hologram technology is the real hologram technology is very, very challenging, and you need special setups for it. But if you mean like water screen shows, that's often referred to as a hologram. Yeah, I've done many water screen shows around the world.
Yeah,
they're fun.
I can recall, and you'll appreciate this. It had to be mid '80s when Sir Paul McCartney was doing, Wings Band on the Run tour. And I had 10th row center, and I was honored to get to be backstage and meet he and Linda and hung out with them. And he did a laser show that was like, at that time, especially that time period, where technology is more advanced now, it was like a net that went over the whole arena, just kind of like a floating net, and it was all in like a greenish tone. And then to the beat of the music, da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-dun, live and let live. And then it just went wild. And then, it was amazing laser light show that for that time period. I was blown away by it. It was just.
You're showing your age there, Peter.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. There'll be some people on this call right now saying who?
Oh, come on,
Guns N' Roses.
You gotta know Mr. McCartney. I don't care what age. All right, so Tim, tell us a little bit more about any projects that you have with your film production and animation Argonaut on the fire.
Yeah, well, the company is actually called Argon, which is it's based on lasers, the laser technology of argon gas. That's my brand name, Argon, and Argon Animation is my laser company. And then what we're working on right now is Argon Fly. We're actually a very unique travel club that allows. And what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to people, especially in the entertainment world, and helping them save money and also make money using the system that we have. The travel club that we have has the ability to, we get wholesale priced travel, so flights, hotels, car rentals, cruises, virtually anything you can think of in travel, wholesale prices instead of retail prices. And then we also have a money-making side with it as well. Every time you book flights, you can make small commissions, and we have a member system as well, which creates income as well. It's kind of cool. And we're kind of reaching out to the entertainment world as people travel around the world, taking crews on flights, to do filming, to do shows, everything like that. We're reaching out to them to help them save money instead of paying retail. And the savings are they're variable, but substantial on a regular basis.
That's awesome.
So this may be something that a lot of your viewers, can use and save money,
And it's good that you're bringing that up, because we have a tremendous amount of viewers, and many of them are in the entertainment industry, as you know, whether they be or whatever line of entertainment they're in. So this is very beneficial to a lot of people. We're hitting the masses, and that's great, Tim.
There was one thing I wanted to ask you about, since you said that you did, water hologram type shows.
Yeah.
Is it possible in this day and age that it's possible to actually project an image onto like a puff of smoke or a cloud in the sky?
Wow, I wish Batman had never been made.
Really? Yeah, I kind of feel you on that one.
I know for a fact they've done laser shows on the side of a building.
Yeah. Okay, to go back to the original question, is it possible? The answer is actually yes, it's possible if you can guarantee a cloud being there.
Yeah, right.
Or just an overcast sky, that's really misty.
Yeah, it's very challenging. You can't control the elements, but if you're lucky,
they could do it in a night sky if it was the right type of sky. A night sky, they'd probably do it.
You know what?
Just against like an actual building where it's like 3D in there.
I would really love to see this. This way, we get to not pollute the world with all of the carbon and sulfur after the explosions, but possibly make a laser fireworks show. Just melting the lasers. we could save so much, and save our air and save from all the poisonous sulfur and carbon dropping back down to the earth because we celebrate 4th of July all over the U.S. and we emit an immense amount of pollution from it.
That's actually an interesting concept, Bruce. We've actually got a province out here in the Philippines where they have completely banned fireworks, and we're always out there doing stuff for them with lasers. The obstacle with lasers. Yeah, the obstacle with lasers is that you need some kind of atmosphere, like dirt in the air or dust or something, or smoke that we produce to actually pick up the lasers. But otherwise, you don't see them very well. So, outside shows are kind of challenging to control because obviously you've got wind, and if there's no clouds or whatever, it's challenging. But we do have smoke machines which we can use. We can get assisted there, but it's actually a very good idea. I think a lot of people will be upset not seeing fireworks, but it is a pollutant.
But it has been done. I know, and that can.
Oh yeah.
The pyro and actual fireworks per se, it can be facsimilated with laser. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Amazing technology. You're the man. You are the man. So normally on our show, Tim, we don't get political or anything, but we talk about like the conditions of the world and things like that, because the title of our show is Direction of the Heart. And, we're pointing towards Global Cooperation Day, which is a worldwide day of peace. And last year what we did was, and I think you and I were talking about it, and I think you were away on a trip or something because we wanted to pull you in on it last year. And God willing, we'll do that this year and have you be a part of it. And one of our administrators, she is Filipino, and she was right there in Manila, and I had told her, get in touch with you. She was visiting her mother who was ill or whatever, but bottom line, we needed to have that contact. And hopefully this year we can participate. And I know, governments in different countries, even here in the United States, sometimes corruption enters in and this and that, political factor. But how are things in the Philippines in regard to the world conditions, the economy, all of this with ISIS, with the Taliban, and all these things going on? How would you say, like, the government and things and conditions for people? Because we know the typhoon that hit, and that was a travesty that hit your country,
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, the Philippines is actually an amazing place to live. I've been here 15 years, absolutely incredible place. The people are wonderful. And as a foreigner coming in, I've had almost no obstacles, no alienation. Being a foreigner, they've very much welcomed me into the community. I love being here. I can't ever think of a time that I'm actually going to leave permanently. This is my home now, and it's absolutely awesome. The other side of the Philippines is that it needs a lot of help. We have a lot of natural disasters here. Typhoon in Tacloban last year was unreal. We're actually going through 3 hurricanes right now. We've just had the second one, and the third one's about to come in the next day or two. And they're not so big right now.
Your area as well, or just like on the other side, like you were saying?
Oh no, just right outside my door. And it's fun but scary in time sometimes. Yes. So the 3 that are coming in right now, they're not so big, but a lot of water's being dumped. We suffer a lot from flooding in the Philippines because we're below sea level. Poverty is obviously a huge issue here. The economy is actually a growing economy right now.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's actually doing very well. There's a massive amount of construction, but there's a lot of people who don't have money. Are you still here?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't have good money here. Salaries are very low compared to the cost of living.
Right.
If you're outside the Manila area, the catch area, it's a very big struggle. Some of the provinces, very, very challenging for them out there. So there's a lot of work to be done. Right. I don't want to say too much about
government like that here in the States too. Different areas, it varies. Where you have areas that are doing well and other areas where they're impoverished. And how is like here in the United States, which it shouldn't even be, but yet you got like people that are homeless or the elderly, or how's the health care, things like that in your country?
Well, there's actually, you pay for everything in the Philippines. So if you've got no money, you have no health care.
I see.
Yeah, so it's very challenging. You see a lot of people who the people who need the help most normally can't get it. And it's very sad. Yeah.
Have you heard of an organization called Doctors Without Borders?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Do they do any help for the Philippines? Have you?
I actually I don't know. I don't even know if they're operational out here, but I have heard of them. I've never seen them in the Philippines, but they could well be.
Maybe you should, we should all come up with a campaign to see if Doctors Without Borders could get funding to go to the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because they don't care what nationality, what religion, anything. They just want to help.
That's rightly so. That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anything we can do to help is always good, you know.
I don't know.
That's why I love what you're doing, Pete.
Yeah. Well, on that note, Tim, Bruce, I don't know what happened. Can you see me on video? Or
Yeah, I can still see you.
Okay, it looks like
You're
it's
still
for some reason it looks like it's loading on my end. But anyway, Tim, I had mentioned this last. If you would like, and especially in light of what happened last year with the typhoon and things like that. But for those that are in dire need, perhaps maybe we could put together a concert out there in the Philippines. You could do the laser, and we could get the flight in, and put a concert on, and we could do something to help the people in your country. What do you think of that?
I think that's a great idea. And I've always been amazed by the entertainment industry, how giving they are, how ready people are to step up and say, you're going to have 2 hours of my time for whatever, for a concert. I've always found this community a very giving community. So I think you'd get masses of support, definitely from the artists here. If it was put together professionally, I think you'd get masses of support.
Yep, that's what we got to do professionally. Where on your end, you could set up on your end, and I would bring in not only myself but other great artists, and would come in pro bono, and would just
and there's a lot of talent out here.
Oh, big time! Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got being that they made me, which I'm very honored, ambassador in chief of global cooperation, and I virtually get Skypes and inbox messages from people from the Philippines, from all over the world, and there's a lot of talent out there in the Philippines.
Oh yeah,
a lot of great groups, a lot of artists. So no doubt we could get them on this concert, and I could bring other artists, and we could do something really good, because these people do need help, and my heart goes out to them. And I'm going to be doing like I'm doing with Brazil. I'm going to be doing with Africa, other countries. And of course, and I know, we get the clowns out there, and I don't mean to be rude, but you get the negative people that say, oh, well, why aren't you helping people here in our country? And you're helping you. They don't get it that, yes, of course we're helping people here, and we're helping people all over, those that are in need. That's who we're helping.
I've always worked on the basis that if you take away all the water, it's all one big country.
There you go. And
but every community needs the proper water storage system, some kind of solar power, plant, so they can administer electricity for doctors and hospitals and people that are in low-income housing and such. But there also needs to be like food banks for people that are homeless, destitute. And that's one thing that I've always feared my entire life is destitution. Destitution is a horrible thing that no person should have to go through. And for us to see it in our own country, it's a shame.
And the reason for that.
Even if it's anywhere else in the world, it's a shame.
Anywhere in the world.
We just gotta find a way to make it so no one will be poor, destitute, without food,
And Tim,
one of the organizations I work with out here is a group who help people after the initial help has gone. Like one of the things that happened in Tacloban was that it goes out in the news, it gets a lot of attention, people come from all over the world to help, and then another disaster happens and everyone shifts to the new disaster and kind of leaves the community behind.
They forget,
and they get kind of forgotten, but a year later they still need help.
Tim, I remember you and I speaking about that, where even like here when 9/11 happened, everybody was gung-ho, people from their heart pitched in, but how fast they forget. You see, and you can't let it. Okay, it's over with. There's always a need, and to me, out to your people there when that typhoon hit, there was just a travesty. And, some of them are still trying to recuperate from that. And here, like you said, you got 3 more hurricanes that other countries, whether it's earthquakes or... and that's why I get a little perturbed when I hear people talk so negative that, to me, we are all God's children. regardless of the color of our skin or nationality or whatever, that wherever there is a need, here in this country, your country, other countries, where there's a need, we are all supposed to be helping our fellow man, and that's what Direction of the Heart and our show is about. So I salute you, and you want to set that up on your end, and we'll do a concert there. That would be wonderful.
A lot of people don't understand.
Merge all our talents.
Well, a lot of people do not understand that it's not just the flooding water itself. It's a problem with debris, garbage, poison, everything else that comes in and contaminates the entire area. Yeah. And it makes it unlivable even if they tried to go back and live there.
Right, exactly.
So there has to be some kind of organization built.
Can set into the water and things like that. Absolutely.
To do things like to renovate the homes, that are destroyed by flooding and wash away the people that were living on the streets, as it is. They have no place to go. It's somebody's got to do something to help.
I'd love to get your take, Tim, on this. That we don't get political, but you have to realize that in any country, and the United States, your country, that oftentimes the reason for these things is, like in Dubai, and I'm sure you can go to certain countries, and there's wealth, and then across the street there's severe poverty, destitution, things like that. So, when the governments get corrupt, and it's all about a lust for money, power, and greed, people suffer. And people in your country, they shouldn't have to suffer like that. People in other countries, they shouldn't have to. And it's a disgrace to have people homeless and on the streets when there is enough for all, for health care, for the elderly, for the widowers and widowers, widows and widowers, and for vets and anything like that, it shouldn't be. So I was just wondering what your take is on that, Tim.
Well, you're always going to have the differences, because in order for the poor to become wealthy, the wealthy are going to have to give up some of their wealth and shift it.
That's not entirely true.
But I see what he's saying.
Well, there's going to have to be more distribution of wealth.
Well, that's true, but it doesn't necessarily may have to make. And
it's very challenging to ask someone to give up what they already have. So I think one of the best ways we can help is by creating a change of heart. And it's actually what I like about the title of what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Tim. I'll give you a bro hug for that statement, because that is exactly our show's called Direction of Heart.
I'm the kind of person that,
is the meat of it. That's the meat and potatoes, is a change of heart.
I can't stand poverty, and I can't stand the fact that people are starving in the world. And I'm always the kind of person that says everyone needs to grow a garden wherever they can and grow something to eat. Everyone, even for the homeless people, there should be some place where they can go to, have food to eat all the time.
Well, there are food banks and this and that, and yet even that gets cliquish or political. But Tim, here, I'll give you an example. Being an ambassador for world peace, I was on the phone with 2 delegates from the United Nations.
Yeah.
And I actually said to them, I says, gentlemen, do you know why? I says, I can recall when I was a young lad, I went to the UN on a field trip in grade school, and there on the wall is a verse from the scriptures that they shall beat their swords into plowshares, spears into pruning hooks, and neither learn war anymore. I said, so why, when all of these delegates from all over the world, and you are the United Nations that don't get political, but, try to have these summits and have these peace meetings, I said, why is it that peace cannot be attained? And they went a little dead air, and to make a long story short, I said, common denominator is fear. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, only thing to fear is fear itself. The Bible says perfect love casts out all fear. And Tim, you hit the nail on the head when you said change of heart. And then I said to them, I said, if this country has grain, and that country has rice, and this country has oil, and everybody bartered and shared, okay, there wouldn't be these problems, and they wouldn't need weapons and go to war and be jealous of each other, or they're going to come and attack us and take what we got. See, and they were like, you know what, you're right. And I said to them, that's not the gospel of Pete DeLorenzo or Tim Bennett or Bruce Shepard. That's just pure common sense.
But you said something there, Pete, that I believe myself, because at some point in the human race, at some time in the future, we're going to figure out that fighting was not the answer, and we are going to end up taking our weapons and beating them into plowshares in order to provide for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah,
you know,
and
see, that's what I'm
I
basically
agree
saying.
with Bruce on that, that in the future that's going to happen. Where we are right now, I mean, this is just my own personal opinion, you know, it's just Tim Bennett speaking here.
We value your opinion, absolutely.
I agree with Bruce that right now it's both ends of the spectrum need to take some form of responsibility. The people who have none need to say, I need to do something about looking after myself. And then the people at the other end of the spectrum with a lot of money need to reach out to the people. And if they haven't got money or they don't want to give money, at least give time and show them how to start creating things. But I also, you know, education is a key. The first movie that we produced, which was called The Boat.
You're hitting the nail on the head on there. Education is the key. And, you know, there's a famous cliche, which I'm sure you know, and I brought this out times, where, you know, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, but you teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So,
yeah, and by education, I'm not talking about going to formal school and learning English or French or whatever. I'm talking about even mindset. Okay, so
there you go. Mindset in education is very important because of all of some of the things that we've actually discussed here on Direction of the Heart. One of them is bullying. And right now in America, it's really bad. The mindset of a lot of teenagers in middle school and high school is egotism and narcissism and this attitude problem in America right now. It's all over the world, really.
It's all over, but you know, there's a lot of it here.
We have to actually change the education system.
Tim hit it on the head when he said the mindset, and I know what you meant when you said education, that it's not just the ABCs and things like that.
And something directed at the child's conduct. Not only is the information
all their upbringing and the way and pattern of thinking as opposed to what the world is teaching them. What is the world teaching?
Besides your basic studies to learn
how... Am I right, Tim? A child doesn't know hatred or prejudice or see color until it's taught to them. So, you know, there wouldn't be any need for these shootings and killings and hatred and prejudice and violence if it wasn't that's somewhere along the line somebody embedding and ingraining that in them, and or around them.
One of the issues I see is that, I mean, I've never actually been in a state of poverty, so I can't speak from experience. I've been in a state where I've not been wealthy, and it's not a lot of fun not having money, but I've never been in, living on the street.
Right.
So I can only imagine what it's like. But the way I see poverty is that it's expressed as a very negative problem. And I think that the people who are in that stage think that they are a problem to society. And I think that needs to be shifted. I think that they don't know that they don't know that they can help themselves. They've been taught by, I feel that people, the propaganda is that you can't do anything for yourself and you're a charity. Yeah. And I think we need a shift on that, in that, yes, you are in a bad position, but you can actually do something about it. Exactly. And here's the people who can help you do that.
It's the vanity in the media.
To give them their self-worth.
To look down on others.
Right.
So that's what I mean by a shift in mindset, is that even the people that, it's hard, if you're living in a community where you've got one bowl of rice and you split it between 15 people, I'm sure that's a very tough place to be. Sure. And that you can do anything about it, maybe. How great would it be for people to come in lovingly without any agendas and just show them, look, this is how you can grow stuff, this is how you can make stuff. Exactly. And allow them as a community to see, hey, we actually have some power, even though we don't have, masses of whatever, we actually can look after ourselves. And I think that's where a lot of the care needs to be directed, which is why I love this group that I'm working with in Manila, is that they kind of do that. They go out and help communities do exactly that. They empower the community rather than just give them cash.
Empower them, teach them, and then they can do for themselves, and it gives them their self-worth, and that they don't have to suffer like that. Exactly. I totally agree with you. You put out volumes of knowledge today on this show, and comments that you have made, and I'm sure you enlightened and touched the hearts and minds of a lot of people today, Tim. We're honored.
Thank you.
We're honored. I got the chills right now. I'm going to tell you, bro, you gave me chills because we can feel your heart, and that's what this show is about. It's called Direction of the Heart, and we're touching the minds and hearts of people to change their lives and turn it around for the better, And so, I think, can you tell our viewers where they can contact you on Facebook, LinkedIn, website, things like that? Give them all your info.
Oh, yeah, it's actually pretty easy to find me. I'm on Facebook. My name on Facebook is Tim John Bennett. I'm on LinkedIn. My website is argonet.com. That's ARGONETTE, argonet.com. And if you want to email me, it's tim@argon.com.ph. So easy to find me. Just look at this face, you'll see it there. I don't hide.
Also, do you have a special site for the laser separately, or?
No, actually, the site I have is about 6 or 7 websites, all in one website under the. I have a theme that allows me to do that. It saves me going all over the place.
Yeah, that's great. Right? So in other words, if they find out about the laser shows or your travel and the flights, they can find all of that on that site. Great.
Yeah. And if you want help with flights, Pete, or any of the viewers want help with any travel arrangements, anything like that, land-based, air-based,
there's tons of entertainers. There's tons of entertainers that I could point in your direction that travel a lot like I do. So definitely, this gentleman Ricardo from Brazil in touch with you to set up, because I told him I'm coming in pro bono on this show. I don't want a dime, and it's to go to help these people, but they're covering my flight, hotel, all that. So he get in touch with you, and you could save him money, and all of that good stuff. And this is
that's right. And the entertainment world is very much a world that runs on a shoestring.
Absolutely.
So anything that we can do to help people, save money, because things like flights and hotels comes right out of your profit.
Yeah.
So anything we can do to help save that. We even have the ability to fly around the world for free.
Awesome.
Jane and I just went to Thailand. Both our airline tickets and our hotel was taken care of by the travel club.
Yeah,
so,
wow.
I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Especially when you sit beside someone on the plane and they paid.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
It's like, man.
Yeah, I think you're right about there needs to be a change of mindset. There needs to be a course in the conduct of how you should be and how you should treat one another. And we don't have that in school. They leave it up to the parents. But nowadays, a lot of parents are just apathetic of how their children are being raised.
But I also believe that there is a big mind shift happening right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people around the world becoming very dissatisfied with what's going on, and there's a lot of people starting to ask the questions about how can we improve this. I think there's a lot of people saying there has to be a better way right now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, people are oppressed. They're oppressed. Yeah. In any country, whether it's economy or jobs or this, people are oppressed in the conditions of the world and all the violence. It's all over. It's not just in any given country. So that's a very, very good point also.
The Philippines is suffering from a lot of different things. We have earthquakes, we have hurricanes, we have it all. It's a lot of fun when it all goes wild. But at the same time, with all the problems that we have here, there's a lot of happiness here. Mm-hmm. The Filipinos are very, very happy people. It doesn't, we just crack open a bottle of beer and have and get down to partying.
Well, I can vouch for the fact that any Filipino people that I've ever met and encountered always have a radiant countenance. When my dad had taken down, he had 2 little mini strokes, and then he had a stroke, and he had several Filipino nurses. They were all Filipino, and they were the most devout, so focused, very caring, loving, that they became like family. They loved my dad. They are very hardworking, very caring people. I got to give them that.
Yeah, there's a lot of compassion out here, and I think that's one of the things that is really needed. Is a lot of people saying, we need to support each other, and I see that a lot here in the communities. A lot of people reaching out to each other, just supporting, and we have a lot of very big extended families here where people support and help each other. It's a really nice thing to see. There's a lot of happiness here as well, amongst all the problems, which is really cool.
And it shows on your face that you're at peace and you love what you're doing, and I know how much you love the Philippines, and you've got a lovely lady, and this is all good, and that's what it's about. I tell everyone, you know what? I've been in show business now. Here I'm going to date myself again, but I just celebrated 44 years in show business, pretty much 3/4 of my life. But the highlight of it all, and it's not, I'm a very humble man, that
you're getting old,
not the fame, and it's not any of that I have, God in my life. I have a wonderful woman that God has blessed me with. That is my life, my everything. So, you know, I mean, it don't get better than that. If you have your health, you have your loved ones. You know, most of my family, unfortunately, thank God I still have my nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews, but all my immediate family, my 3 older brothers and mom, dad, grandparents are all gone. But, you know, having Marcella in my life is like key. You know, that is what I live and breathe for, and for my God, and for what I do in the world. That, you know, the entertainment is my profession. That's my livelihood. But, you know, the humanitarian end, I've always been that way, and I know you are a very charitable man too as well, Tim. So this is what we're studying, and with Direction of the Heart, honored to have you on today, because that's the seed we're planting. You hit the key to set that mindset, teach them, guide them, which they're not getting it many times, these young people, in the home or at school. So there should be some type of programs. Like, I remember when I was in grade school, they had, you know, different classes for different subjects and different things, not school subjects, but like special classes for certain things if you want to specialize. But, you know, they should have some type of a community program to set that mindset where people can come together, work together for the good of mankind.
Teach them social skills.
Yeah, and you know, for me, it was an interesting journey, because when I left school and I was in that position of, I realized I can't get a job. At the time, I thought my life was kind of over. I'm going to be destined to a world of cleaning floors and cleaning windows.
Yeah.
And then when I look back in life now and sort of go back over it, I realized that that was actually one of the greatest gifts that was ever given to me, was the fact that I didn't do well at school. And because if I had done well at school, I'd be working in corporate world or something like that right now. And it was because I didn't do well that I realized that I actually had talents and I had the ability to stand up on my own 2 feet. And I went out and created something for myself. And then one of my friends used to, I'm a public speaker out here as well. I do entrepreneurial training as well to help the lower end people who don't have jobs.
You're great at that.
And they used to introduce me as the entertainer. And I always used to go, I'm not an entertainer, I'm a public speaker. And then one day I realized that I actually sat down and thought, who is Tim Bennett? What is it I do? And then I realized that I actually am an entertainer. And the way I entertain is through speaking. I'm not one of these I don't get up and speak and blah, blah, blah. I use lasers in my talks. I use all different tools in my talks. And I'm not a traditional speaker. And once I realized that who I was, which was Tim Bennett as an entertainer, and step into those shoes, my life kind of changed overnight. I realized that that's my role in life, to entertain.
Right.
I'm not a motivational speaker, I'm an entertainer. And now what I do is I go out and entertain the world. And on my business card I have Director of Wow. And my job is literally to make people go, wow.
Hey, I like that. That's great.
Yeah. And people get my card and they go, Director of Wow, what's that? And I say, my job's to make you go, wow. They go, wow.
They probably think that's an abbreviation for something, whereas no, it's just wow. You know.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we can one of the gifts that we have is entertainment. And what we do, I think, as entertainers is allow people to forget the troubles in their life for a little period.
Bingo.
And just enjoy that space that they're in right at that moment. And I think that's a nice thing to do.
Exactly. And you know and I know as filmmakers and producers that when they go and you read a good book, you lose yourself in that book. You listen to music, you lose yourself in the ambiance of the song. Same thing with a film. So yes, we are entertainers. And it doesn't have to be, like you said, per se, a singer, an actor, or whatever.
Correct.
But you are entertaining people, and you're entertaining them with life. You're educating them. And as a motivational speaker myself, I've given seminars that, you know, I'll throw a little levity, a little humor in there, but when I go on and I'm giving a seminar or life coaching, that's what you're doing. You're life coaching people. You're giving them a way and an order, and like you said, a mindset to be successful, to believe in themselves, and thereby go out and do. You know, don't talk about it, don't dream about it, step up to the plate and do it. You put your mind to anything and do it.
We all of us, not just for me, anyone who's entertainment touches a lot of lives. And then you allow people maybe 10 out of 100 will say, you know, I'd like to do something like this as well. And I have people coming up to me saying, you know, can we work with you? Can we be part of it? And they're just people out the audience, you know. And you can touch lives and help lives that way.
And you're touching the masses, and that's what it's about. That, you know, it's not just about it's our livelihood, but we are touching the lives and minds and hearts of many, many people.
Speaking of entertainment, I just recently released a new video and song. It's a cover song of the Beatles, "Let It Be."
Right.
And there's another YouTuber and I. We've done a collage on quite a few songs and we put it out. Recently, we went to #2 local on Reverb Nation for Jacksonville, Florida's metal genre.
Wow.
So, I mean, we shot from number 14 to 2 in like one day.
From that video, right, Bruce?
Well, not only that, it's just the accumulation of
Right.
of widget clicks for our song, because we put out the song a day before the video. And yeah, we shot way up. You know, we're probably going to be looking at, you know, #1 place. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that JB and I are taking a new direction in music. Yeah, we like heavy metal and stuff like that, but we want to do stuff inspiring now, because this right here, in the midst of all of this worldly chaos going on, you know, we're just saying, don't worry about it, pray about it.
Right.
You know, just let it be, pray about it. I mean, if you can do something about it, by all means, please.
Well, Bruce, you know, and Tim, when you interviewed me, not to talk about me per se, but my film, The Mentor, is about just that. Yeah, I loosely based it on my life and career, but the big message is that love what you do what you love, do it uprightly, walk with God, don't step on people's toes, don't hurt people along the way, and whatever it is you put your mind to and ardently desire, it inevitably will come to pass. For some sooner, for some later, but if you keep throwing spaghetti against the wall, sooner or later it's got to stick. And we are living examples of that. If we did it, so can others, you see. And yeah, there's always the struggle and, you know, and the climb. And I remember I brought this out many times, and it's in my script, that when I worked with Cher back in the 80s, and she said to me backstage, the higher the ladder you climb, the more maintenance. And of course that's very true, you know. I think many times people in our industry see the glamour, the glitter, the fame, and this and that, and they don't see the hard work, the sacrifice, the rejection. But if you stay with it, you believe in yourself, then others will. You say, and that's what it takes. And we're not talking about, you know, ego. We're talking about self-confidence. And Tim, you're a living example of that. Like you said, well, yeah, maybe if you had done better scholastically, you could have been very powerful in the corporate world, but you took the initiative to go out and make something of yourself. And you're your own man.
You made me smile there. Success is actually very expensive. I remember I went bankrupt about, well, 12 years ago in the Philippines. One of my business partners wasn't so partnering. And I was in a state where I literally lost everything I had, and it wasn't a great place to be. I didn't enjoy it particularly, but it was very low cost. Yeah. Having nothing is not expensive.
Yeah.
It's sometimes a nice place to be.
Oh, look at that. And I told you that when we did the webinar, I was embezzled out of like 60K. And, you know, you say 60K, well, is that a lot of money? No, maybe not. But at that time, that was seed money, and 60K, and it knocked me on my butt for quite some time, you know.
But 60K is a lot if you've only got 59.
Yeah.
The truth is, you know, you followed your heart, you followed your dream, you wanted to be an individual outside of that corporate noose that, you know, snags everybody to be one way only, and, you know, you wanted to be original, and you did. You became original.
Well, you know, passion is a big part of what I believe in. My tagline is, my life is my passion. And if you do follow your passion, I mean, first you've got to discover what it is and then follow it. You will find a lot of people who are very, very willing to support your passions. And that was actually how I got back on my feet again. I had a handful of people, maybe 4 or 5 people, who gave me the help I needed, not the help I wanted, the help I needed, and got me back on my feet and pushed me in the right direction. And you know, I love those people. They know who they are, and I certainly know who they are. Yeah. And with those handful of people, I was able to restart again. And it kind of takes us back to what we were talking about earlier, Bruce, is that you only need a few people to actually reach out and help some other people to start that direction going.
And it takes a few that really are earnest, sincere, and really care. And then, like you said, you got a collaboration, and all benefit.
Yeah.
And that was great that happened for you. And again, you hit a key note that, when I've given life coaching or seminars, I have a key exercise that says, as we look in the mirror before we go out and we want to look presentable and the whole deal, look into the mirror of our souls. And we ask, who am I? Where am I going? What do I want out of life? Am I getting there? And then the last is, if not, why? Because 9 out of 10 times, people are their own worst enemy and they want to blame everybody else around them, whether the job didn't work or their personal, whatever. No, examine yourself and say, what could I do to maybe contribute to this better? Or what am I doing wrong? Or what can I do to perfect this? Or who can I collaborate? Or who can I go with? And so the last part is the most, if not, why? Because 9 out of 10 times, people shoot themselves in the foot. They lose confidence. They lose faith in themselves. They give up. And I've had countless actors and actresses even that I've coached. I wanna, I should've, if only I would've, I could've. And if you're gonna go through life like that, it's sad, because, if you really want it that bad, then go for it. Go for it.
I think relationships, Pete, is a big part of getting support.
Oh, absolutely.
Relationship building. I mean, I've been made more aware of this in the last 2 years, doing what I'm doing right now, than I've ever been before. Is that, unfortunately, Facebook is one of those worlds that creates a lot of virtual people. They're friends on Facebook that I've never ever met. I've never spoken to them, and they've been my friend for 2 years, and then I get a message saying, "Can you help me?" There's been no relationship built whatsoever. So I think one of the ways of getting people from where they are to where they want to be, starting to build relationships slowly with the people that they need to connect with.
I agree. And social is an introduction relationship, and then from there you build it. And look at in the years that we've known each other. We met on LinkedIn, you see. So it happened, and people put their best foot forward too, like you said. Relationship. You can't just somebody on Facebook and then say a year later, like you said, "Hey, can you help me?"
Yeah. Well, I see too much. I mean, let me give you an example. Like a real estate agent comes onto Facebook, like purpose of trying to sell me. That's not going to work, and that goes across any business.
Right.
Any help that's wanted. If you just knock on my door and say, "Can you help me?" I'm like, "Hello, who are you?"
Right. And you get
I realize that sometimes people need urgent, immediate help, but they have the ability to create relationships.
Absolutely.
So, started in asking for help is to create relationships that you want help with, and just be there.
Absolutely.
Maybe give a little bit of yourself as well.
Case in point, like we met on LinkedIn, but whether it's on a social media, build that relationship by friends, but you don't, like you said, this gentleman trying to sell your property. You get to know, finds out about you, find out about him, what he does, and then perhaps you can collaborate on efforts to build a relationship. I totally concur with you. Totally.
Yeah, in fact, we've known each other for 3 years. We've either of us anything from the other.
Exactly. On a common ground of talents and respect to each other. But no, we never do this for me, or can you do that for me? If any, talents to help each other. So
we running a little bit over time here. I'd like to give the final thought on tonight's discussion and topic. Kim?
Yeah, overall thoughts. Any comments, Tim?
Wow. We've just been talking about so much. But I think, from my part as an entertainer, my talent is obviously, hopefully making people happy. I think this is the key. Go to your place that makes you happy. If you're in a disaster or you need help, I like what you said earlier, Bruce, about it's happened. I mean, let's say there's a hurricane coming through. I can't stop that.
Right.
But what I can do is think about the hurricane. What Napoleon Hill said, every disaster there's a seed of good.
There you go.
Find it. You got to go to a place and find what. There's nothing you can do to change where you are exactly at that. But you got to find some way of getting to. It's okay for you to be there, and then from that point, step forward and work towards changing things. Take responsibility for where you are right now. You know, like
Exactly.
I can't blame for the Philippines.
No,
I chose to be here. I should go somewhere where there's no hurricanes.
Yeah, that
So I got to accept that.
too.
That I made the choice to be here, and it's part of being here, and you know I can do what I can do about making it better. It's actually a lot of fun. Well, it depends where you are, but I'm on the 39th floor, and it's a lot of fun in a hurricane.
Wonderful point you put out about Napoleon Hill, because I'm an avid reader of his work as well, and a very, very wise man, a good Christian man. You know, on that note, we don't have control over certain things, sickness, death, like you said, a hurricane, and oftentimes the way I guess it became a slogan, but I was in Florida on a 13-night tour, and you've seen how it could be on the Street and the other side the sun is shining, and it just hit me, and